A DM, a familiar face, parking lot. 19 seconds later, silence. Stay to the end, and I'll show you the one mistake that exposed everything. Tonight isn't just a murder story. It's a tutorial in how a single DM can turn your phone into a trap. In October 2020, two men used a fake profile, just one familiar face and a location pin, to lure a young woman to a parking lot. 19 seconds later, everything changed. If you stay with me to the end, you'll see exactly how the setup was built, the single mistake that exposed it, and the digital breadcrumb almost everyone misses, but detectives didn't. This isn't gore. It's a warning. Watch carefully. You'll never look at a quick link up the same way again. Set up by a screen. The October plot. Viewer discretion is advised. This documentary discusses violence, gang activity, and the exploitation of social media. We do not show graphic images. Some names, online handles, and minor details have been changed for privacy and safety. Everyone is presumed innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law. This content is for reporting, education, and public awareness, not glorification or instruction. It takes less than 10 seconds to double tap a photo. It takes less than one to slide into a stranger's DMs. But in October 2020, two men used those seconds like crosshairs, weaponizing posts, stories, and location tags. By the time the algorithm refreshed, a young woman lay bleeding beside a curb, her phone still unlocked, the last message unread. Tonight, how two alleged members of the Grape Street Crips turned social media into a hunting ground, and how the digital breadcrumbs they left behind helped bring the plot to light. This is the story of a setup. A DM from a familiar face, a meetup that felt safe, two cars idling in the dark, and a plan that lived, breathed, and evolved on the screen long before it spilled into the street. Before the first shot, before the first step out of that car, the groundwork was digital. In 2020, pandemic year, screens weren't just entertainment. They were lifelines. Parties moved to live streams. Arguments moved to comments. And alliances, old and new, were negotiated in DMs. In neighborhoods where colors still mattered and old beefs never fully died. Social media didn't replace the streets. It mapped them. We're calling our victim Maya, not her real name, 21. Works part-time at a bakery, posts nail designs, loves dancing on reels. Her circle spans cousins, classmates, church folks, a few neighborhood kids who grew up together, some who drifted different directions. She is careful about public location tags, but she's also 21. Careful doesn't always mean cautious. Across the city, two men, let's call them Dre and Shark, have a problem. It's a problem with pride attached, a problem with history, and a problem made worse by the little numbers under other people's posts. Likes, views, comments. Shark carries stories. They disrespected us on live. They laughed at the homies mural. Dre tracks who reposts what and who doesn't. Screenshots become ammunition. Ambiguity becomes motive. Somewhere in these overlapping Venn diagrams, friends of friends, cousins of cousins, Maya and the men's worlds brush. A repost here, a comment there. Nothing that looks like a line until you draw it backwards. What if the person you trust is the one forwarding your location? The message comes simple. A familiar avatar. Someone Maya recognizes from real life. A face you'd hug at a cookout. We'll call her Jade. Again, not the real name. The DM says, "I'm near your spot. Quick link up. I got that set you wanted." A reference to hair bundles Maya mentioned in a story 2 days ago. The kind of detail only a close viewer could clock. Maya hesitates. It's late, but not late. She's cautious with rides. She turns down an after party. But Jade is safe. Maya asks for location. Jade drops it. It's the parking lot of a small strip of shops. Half the storefronts gated since COVID, one liquor store open. Cameras? Maybe. Working? Maybe not. The pin is a dot blinking under a sodium light. There's an art to a good pretext. Keep it ordinary. Keep it urgent enough to override caution. And if you can attach it to something the target wants posted publicly recently, this is not genius. It's predatory. It's leveraging familiarity, and the platform rewards familiarity with reach. Maya slips on a hoodie and slides into her dad's old sedan. She texts a cousin, "Stepping out 20, Jade got me." She adds a heart. It's October. The air is finally cool. One street over, Shark sends a thumbs up to a smaller group chat. Dre shares a live location, not his, a burner, parked where the lot funnels cars to a single exit. He suggests a time window. He writes, "No phones." He writes, "Quick." He writes, "Done." She saw a friend. They saw a target. The lot looks harmless because it is. 99 times out of 100, people link up here and nothing happens. In neighborhoods where danger is painted loud and bright, the ordinary places feel invisible. That's their trick. Maya pulls in, parks where Jade said. Near the cart return, she watches the entrance. A silver sedan idles at the far end. She gets a DM, "I'm here, park next to me." She doesn't see Jade's face, just the instruction. Another ping, "Hop in the passenger, AC's on." She leaves her car running, locks it with the spare, and walks toward the silver sedan. There's a reason we trust our phones. They carry our people. They carry our maps. They carry our receipts. But they also carry illusions of safety, of proof, of presence. If a familiar avatar says it's Jade, our brains default. Jade. The car door opens. The interior light never comes on. Maya leans down, maybe to see the face, maybe to double check. That's when the second car pulls in fast, cutting off the lane behind her. What happens next takes 19 seconds. She is grabbed, pushed, and shoved toward the second car. She fights hard. She's not a passive victim. She lands a kick that knocks a phone loose. It skitters under the next car. Someone curses. Someone says, "Hurry up." Someone says, "Move." A neighbor 2 buildings overhears the noise and steps onto a balcony, phone already in hand. He aims, recording from the dark. The silver sedan peels out. The second car hesitates, maybe waiting for a third person, maybe deciding what to do. Maya breaks free, stumbles, runs toward the street. Shots crack. 1, 2, 3, then too many to count. When the silence returns, the recording keeps going, capturing overhead lights buzzing, a dog barking, and a set of taillights shrinking into October. That video would outlive the night, and so would the data. Officers arrive. Paramedics work under punishing lights. They try to fight time and blood and physics. In the end, they can't. The DA's clock starts. Detectives canvass. Who called 911? The neighbor, the balcony witness, hands over the video. It's grainy, shaky, and dark. But it has sound, it has a timestamp, and it has one lifeline detail. The distinctive squeal of a belt under the silver sedan's hood when it accelerates, followed by a quiet rattle that sounds like a loose license plate. Witnesses remember small things. Cameras remember everything, but only if they're pointed in the right direction. They pull footage from a liquor store camera. The angle is wrong for faces but right for silhouettes. The silver sedan is a mid-2010s model. A missing hubcap, a dent near the rear bumper. The second car is darker, newer, a compact with a dealer frame still on the plate. Neither plate is readable on the store's footage, but the street's traffic cam, 2 blocks over, has a better lens. Meanwhile, Maya's phone is logged into multiple platforms, her DMs preserved in the cloud. With a warrant, investigators review the last incoming messages. They see the conversation with Jade, but when they tap the avatar, the account is barely 2 weeks old. Sparse posts, a single photo. The followers list, however, leaks a clue. 2 accounts that followed Jade within minutes of it going live, both linked in other corners of the internet to handles historically associated with Grape Street. Correlation is not guilt, but in the first 48 hours, correlation is a lead. They thought the burner was clean. It wasn't. On paper, Jade is nothing. A burner email, a prepaid phone. But network analysis cares less about what an account is and more about who it touches. Follower A is quiet now, private. But in 2019, it posted a blurry clip at a candlelight vigil in Jordan Downs. A voice-off camera says, "Shark, slide out the frame." Months later, follower B posted a backseat video of hands counting cash. A logo on a hoodie matching one scene in a 2018 arrest photo of a man known on the block as Dre something. Detectives don't need to guess. They ask for help from a digital forensics team. Headers, metadata, IPs that briefly forgot to turn the VPN on. A login at 2:12 a.m. from a cousin's apartment on 103rd that later also logs into a different handle in the same minute. Sloppy, human. Then there's the car. A patrol unit spots a silver sedan 2 nights later with a missing hubcap and a rattling plate frame. The driver is a woman in her 30s. She's not a suspect. She's Shark's aunt. She says the car is borrowed often. She says she's tired. She consents to a search. Under the passenger seat, officers recover a single 9mm casing. Clean, wiped, too clean for anyone who doesn't watch cop shows. But residue is residue. The lab notes trace elements consistent with a brand found at the scene. And there's the video. The balcony witness captured 19 seconds. And in those seconds, a voice shouts an uncommon nickname. It matches a tag on an old party flyer in a public post still up, still cached, still ignored until someone needs it. The internet forgets selectively. Law enforcement does not. One unlocked post, one nickname, one door kicked open. Motive doesn't bring anyone back. But motive helps judges, juries, and communities understand how a keyboard became a trigger. In Maya's circle, she wasn't in the life. Her sin, if you can call it that, was proximity. She reposted a tribute video for a friend whose cousin had beef with Sharkside. She added a heart and a dove emoji. Did she mean disrespect? No. Did Shark interpret it as allegiance? Yes. On a live 2 weeks earlier, a friend of a friend joked about the Grape Street mural. Looks like a sticker. The live had 200 viewers. Among them, Dre. People typed LOL. Others typed watch your mouth. Screens turn jokes into permanent offense. Pride becomes public. Public becomes pressure. There's also money. October 2020 was tight. Hustles were thin. Clout was currency and currency was clout. A story that says we caught her slipping travels fast. For men like Dre and Shark, that speed is intoxicating. If you can't build power, you perform it. If you can't be seen, you make a scene. This is not new. It's just digitized. A century ago, it was whispers on porches and signals at corners. Now it's push notifications. Pride went live and wouldn't log off. Early morning, a week after the shooting, the task force moves. Warrants, phones, residences, vehicles. Dre is picked up outside a cousin's place. Shark is found 2 hours later, half awake, half online. He was on live at 4 a.m., face-off camera, music loud, comments flying. Phones are seized. One is encrypted but auto-unlocks with Face ID as a hand holds it up and Shark barely opens his eyes. Another is locked but has iCloud backups. The Jade account had been deleted overnight. The problem with deletion is timing. Deletion leaves logs. Deletion after a search warrant exists looks like consciousness of guilt. On Dre's phone, a Notes app holds a list titled Errands. Under it, plate frame, hubcap, bleach. He could be fixing a car, sure. He could also be fixing a story. In group chats, some named after sports teams, some after cartoon characters, messages cluster around the night of the murder. Was you there? Don't say that here. Video up? Take that down. Who sent her? Jade got her to come. Jade good. Jade handled. Handled how? The account is gone. The person behind it? Investigators believe it's a composite. A borrowed face from an old classmate's public profile, a voice note spliced from a YouTube video to fake a quick audio reply, and a phone number registered with an out-of-state zip code. None of that matters if the login IPs point home. They thought it was airtight. It was air-thin. Interrogation rooms are designed to be boring. No clocks, no windows, just time. Dre shrugs. He wants a lawyer. That's his right. The detective nods, ends the interview. Shark sits longer. He says he wasn't there. He says he was on live. The detective taps the table. Where? Shark names an account. The detective slides a printout. That account's IP pings from 2 miles from the lot. Not the apartment where Shark claims he streamed. Shark leans back, stares at the corner, asks for water. They ask about Jade. Shark flinches for half a second. Micro-expressions are not evidence. But there's more. A contact named Jay in his phone with a single emoji as a profile pic. The number traces back to a prepaid SIM purchased with cash. Nearby camera footage from the shop that sold the SIM shows a man in a hoodie with a tattoo on his hand. The same tattoo appears in a public photo that Dre posted in 2018, an outline of a crown with 3 dots underneath. The detective doesn't need a confession. He needs a chain. Opportunity. Means. Digital trail. Humans forget. Systems don't. One tap too many. One login too close. Maya's family gathers at the corner 3 nights after. Someone brings a speaker. Someone brings a photo printed big, too big for the easel, so they tape it to the wall. People cry quietly and loudly. Pastor prays. A cousin stares at her phone. At the last message Maya sent, Jade got me. I'll be quick. People talk about how to keep young people safe. Don't go alone. Don't meet late. Don't trust fresh accounts. But shame isn't prevention. Fear isn't education. What they want is accountability on people who pull triggers and people who think the screen erases fingerprints. The case begins to pulse online. Threads, theories. A few accounts post the balcony video. Others urge them to take it down. The platform's policies kick in too slowly. The comments section sprains itself trying to sprint between mourning and outrage. In all this noise, Maya becomes hashtags. Her real life, her real laugh, her real favorite nail color. Glossy cherry. Risk getting lost. We cut through the noise with receipts. Cell site data is imperfect but directional. Analysts map the phones tied to Dre and Shark. Pings align with the hour before the murder, moving toward the lot. One device goes dark 20 minutes before the shooting. Another switches to airplane mode for 13 minutes. After the shots, both devices light back up, traveling south then east. The pattern looks planned because it is. Gunshot residue tests are inconclusive on clothing recovered from Shark's room, washed, dried, folded. But the silver sedan's floor mat fluoresces under light. Not blood, but a cleaning agent. In the creases near the seat track, technicians recover a human hair, not Maya's. A male DNA profile that matches neither Dre nor Shark, but does match a known associate picked up for a different charge in 2017. The circle tightens. On Jade's account, deleted DMs are reconstructed from backups. The language is casual but stylized. A syntax fingerprint. Detective work sometimes comes down to commas and slang. The same stylistic quirks appear in a caption Shark wrote months earlier on his personal account. Coincidence? Maybe. Combined with logins, IPs, and device IDs? Less maybe. He hid his face. He didn't hide his fingerprint, his writing. Prosecutors file charges. Murder, conspiracy to commit murder, firearms enhancements. The charging documents tell a story written in push notifications. The Jade account is alleged to be a lure. The cars, tools. The guns, final punctuation. Defense attorneys counter. The data is circumstantial. The cars are family cars. The accounts aren't definitively tied to the defendants. A judge considers bail, denies it. The community waits. Maya's mother learns to breathe in bites. Not hours, not days, but seconds she can survive. This is where many stories online fade. They got caught, but cases don't end at arrest. They wind through months of motions, discovery, hearings. People flip, people fold, people run. Someone in their circle couldn't carry the secret. The associate with the DNA hair? He wants a deal. He says he drove the silver sedan but didn't know why until it was too late. He says he heard Jade mentioned as the girl in the DMs. He names names. The state offers cooperation for considerations. He provides chat logs from a secondary phone the task force hadn't found, photos of a whiteboard plan in someone's garage, bullet points outlining roles. Jade equals lure, S equals driver, D equals eyes, K equals fire. K, a fourth player, or a placeholder initial. He shows a photo of the crown tattoo on a hand holding a gas pump, posted to a story with the caption up early, down late. The timestamp lines up. The defense calls him a liar saving his skin. The jury, months later, will be instructed to weigh credibility. But the investigation just gained a witness who bridges the online evidence with the street. He brought receipts of his own, photos the algorithm forgot to bury. Trials are not TV. They're transcripts and patience. The prosecution walks the jury through the digital world. How a DM becomes a meetup, how a meetup becomes a murder. Jurors see the parking lot map. They hear the 19 seconds from the balcony. They watch, frame by frame, the silhouette of a man with a hitch in his step. Shark has a slight limp, old injury, visible in videos months before. The defense raises doubt. The lighting is poor. The IP locations are approximate. The whiteboard photo could be a sick joke, a clout grab. Maya's repost, they argue, wasn't a death sentence. Why would hardened men care about a heart emoji? Because power is brittle. Because public is pressure. Because digital humiliation scratches like sandpaper until someone bleeds. We won't name a verdict here. In some cities, stories like this end in hung juries and retrials. In others, they end with decades inside. In all of them, families carry what screens cannot. Verdicts don't heal. They only label what happened. Here's what the case teaches, beyond acronyms and timestamps. 1. Familiar avatars can be masks. If the tone feels slightly off, if the account is new, if the urgency is high, slow down. Verify with a voice call. You initiate to a known number. Meet in lit, public spaces and bring someone. Share a live location with family, not just headed out. 2. Screenshots are forever, but timing matters. If you're a bystander with a video, blur faces, strip audio, and get it to investigators. Don't feed the algorithm a tragedy it will chew up and sell back as engagement. 3. Communities need more than warnings. Jobs, safe spaces, mentors who interrupt pride spirals. Platforms must also respond faster, flagging new accounts that DM aggressively, tying device IDs to patterns of predation. Maya's page stops updating. People still tag her, still comment on old posts on anniversaries. In that quiet, we remember she was more than an avatar, more than 19 seconds of grainy footage. She was someone who loved glossy cherry nail polish, who made her niece laugh by dancing with a spatula, who thought she was meeting Jade for hair bundles. In October 2020, 2 men treated social media like a weapon. The internet kept their whispers and mapped their moves. But before all the data, before the charts and the warrants, there was a message and a blink of trust. We owe Maya more than outrage. We owe her a world where a DM doesn't double as a death notice. In memory of those lost to digital setups and street violence. If this story moved you, consider supporting credible local violence interruption programs and digital safety education. Share this video responsibly. Respect victims. Don't amplify unverified rumors. Stay safe online. Meet smart. Verify twice. Thank you for staying with me to the end. If the story taught you anything, let it be this. Verify before you meet, and don't ignore small red flags. We share these cases to remember victims and to help someone spot a setup before it happens. If you found value here, tap subscribe and turn on all notifications. It really helps. And please share one digital safety tip in the comments. Your advice might protect someone. If you're continuing, the next video breaks down another case solved by a single online mistake. Click it now and I'll meet you there.